All right, so today's lesson is on ratios and proportions. The learning target is I can solve proportions. Let's start with some vocabulary. Ratio. Ratio is a comparison of two numbers by division. Okay? So there's three ways that we can write a ratio. First one would be as a fraction. So I'm going to use the numbers 3 and 4. So if I write this as a fraction, I'm going to write 3 over 4. I can write a ratio with a colon, 3 colon 4, which means 3 to 4. Or we can write it out as 3 to 4. Proportion. Proportion is an equation stating that two ratios are equal. Okay? So let's look at some examples of proportions and how to solve proportions. The first one, well, if we look here, we have A over B is equal to C over D. And if we cross multiply, and I'm sure you've seen this in middle school, cross multiplication means I'm going to multiply A times D. So A times D, I'm going to make that equal to B times C. Okay, so like I said, I think many of you have seen this in middle school. Example number 1, you have x over 12 is equal to 24 over 16. If we were to cross multiply, and again, you cross multiply when there's an equal sign. Okay, I'm going to multiply x times 16, which we're going to write it as 16x. Remember, we want the number before the variable. I'm going to make that equal to, I'm going to multiply these two numbers together. So 12 times 24. Well, 12 times 24 is 288. And I'm going to bring down this 16. Now this is just solving a one-step equation. How do I get rid of the 16? I'm going to divide it by 16. Both sides are going to be divided by 16. And now my answer is 18. X is 18. Okay. Example number 2. Now example number 2 looks a little different. What you see down here is a binomial. When you have a binomial, make sure you put them in parentheses. And you'll see why in a minute. Now, again, this is a proportion, and you want to cross multiply. If I were to cross multiply, I'm going to multiply 4 times 15. So 4 times 15 is equal to, well, I'm going to multiply these two, and I'm going to write the 10 first, and then the parentheses after. So I have 10 times the quantity x minus 2. Okay, well, 14 times 15 is going to give me 60. And then I have is equal to 10 times the quantity x minus 2 again. Well, right here we have multi-step equation where we're going to distribute the 10 inside the parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite that as 60 is equal to 10x minus 20. This is a two-step equation. Let's get rid of the 20. I'm going to add 20 to both sides. And I have 80 is equal to 10x. Right, we're to get rid of the 10. I'm going to divide by 10. My answer is going to become 8. Okay? Example number 3. I have a binomial again, so remember with binomials we want to put parentheses around the binomial. If we're going to cross multiply, I want you to multiply 2 times x. So 2 times x is 2x. we're going to multiply 3 times the quantity x plus 8. So it's equal to 3 times the quantity x plus 8. And we're going to distribute. You distribute, we have 2x is equal to 3x plus 24. Okay, at this time, we want to move, I would say let's move the 3x, because we already have an x by itself on the left-hand side. So I'm going to write negative 3x to both sides, and I'm going to end up with a negative 1x. That's going to equal 24. Well, I need to get rid of that negative 1. Remember, we need to isolate the variable, and there's still a negative number, so I want to divide by negative 1. And my answer becomes negative 24. Okay? Last one. Example number 4 has 2 binomials. The 2 binomials are right here in the denominator. Again, we're going to cross multiply. I'm going to multiply 10 times the quantity x plus 8. And that's going to equal 12 times the quantity x plus 3, or no, I'm sorry, x minus 3. Okay, so now we have to distribute this 10 into that set and the 12 into the other. 10 times x gives me 10x. 10 times 8 is 80, so you have plus 80, is equal to 12 times x is 12x. And 12 times negative 3 is negative 36. So we have solving equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. And I want to move my smallest variable, which is the 10. So I'm going to subtract 10x both sides. I end up with 80 is equal to 2x minus 36. Since I moved my variable to the right, I want to move my constant to the left. So this negative 36, I'm going to add 36 to both sides. And I get 2x is equal to 116. Oops, sorry. So I need to get rid of this 2, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I end up with x is equal to, 58. Okay? So for today's assignment, I want you to do the back of the ratios and proportions. And good luck. Email us if you have any questions.